Good afternoon, and you notice today that I am without my buddy in crime, Miss Barbara Marville Kelly, who has got some of this yucky stuff that's going around, but I am Paul Friedlander. I am here today representing the greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce in what will be our Christmas version of the show. I can't believe it's Christmas right around the corner. My first guest is the lovely Miss Kristie Dimarakis. She is a realtor and with Remax Capital Realty. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. Tell us about what's going on in the real estate industry right now, young lady.
Oh, yeah. You know, people always say Christmas time is the downtime for them, but it seems like every fall, every winter, it's my busiest time of year. So we have the snowbirds coming back. They're buying second homes, or they're just lucky enough to be able to move here full time. So I'm staying really busy.
Nice. And you have been involved in real estate for how long now?
I got my license back in 2014.
Awesome. And so talk to me. What are people looking for out there? What's important when somebody's looking to buy a new home or sell a home?
Yeah, well, I've been on the listing side here recently, doing a little bit more of selling homes than having buyers, which either way, I want to help people. So, but the sad part about it is several of them are moving out of state, so we're losing some Floridians.
Oh,
but
really?
as the way the market's going right now, there's tons of people now moving into Tampa Bay. So,
did I hear something on the news just recently? Like, did somebody? I think yesterday I just happened to be flashing by the station. It was like 1,200 people a day or something that moved into Florida.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Well, going down the 54 corridor, you know, I mean, people always call me and say, you know, let's talk about new construction, and they'll pop a subdivision out that I don't even know about, and they don't understand why I don't know about it, because there's so many new communities, builders going out.
And I know this is be a silly question, but is that growth good or bad, or has it got a double-edged sword to it, the amount of growth that's going on?
It's a double edge because of the roads. You know, I mean, go up 41 in Pasco County, up 41 to 52. You know, it's just, I sat going 2 miles. It took me 25 minutes the other night at rush hour. So, you know, it's good and bad. I love to see the growth. I love to see all the new businesses that are coming and expanding. But the roads, it's taking a toll on it.
Is it? But from the buyer side, since you do have some listings, what do you find your buyers are looking for? Is the fact that there's so much new construction, is that, again, I guess sort of a double-edged sword? It's good and bad because people are looking price. But if I'm a seller right now, what do I need to do to help you sell my house? What's important today?
Yeah, a lot of sellers don't really realize that they need to prep their home to get it ready to be sold. You know, I just had a new listing come on the market on Monday, and we had to go through the home. They had a lot of trinkets on the walls, and his bushes are really high, and unfortunately, I have to be the bearer of bad news, like that most important guitar has to come off the wall because the buyers don't want to see that. And it's also distracting, you know, when buyers come in home, they see that guitar and they are like, they want to look at the guitar more than they want to see the home. So that stuff has to be, you know, put away, whether it go ahead and put it in boxes and store it in the garage or get a pod, you know. But yeah, telling them to do their landscaping and all that is in this market so critical.
Yeah, I would assume, especially with the new construction.
Yeah.
And what about updating? What's the most important thing for somebody? I mean, I know some of these houses, let's say somebody's been there for 33 years. How much needs to be updated? How much they have to be careful that they don't update to the point where somebody walks in and says, it's a brand new floor, and they go, I don't like it?
Well, that's where they need to rely on their realtor to help them make that decision, because we have the ability to look, you know, at the MLS and see what has sold here recently. And maybe doing the bathroom may not be a great idea to spend, you know, $15,000 to upgrade it. How about let's check the price and maybe lower the price so you don't have to do that, you know? So it really just depends on, you know, talking with your realtor and having that conversation.
And I'm guessing in this day and age right now that you have a situation where when people are walking, and just a little bit that way, sweetie, yeah. So when people are thinking about it, let me ask you a question. We have some guys that you and I both know that are inspectors. I always thought that even if you're not planning to sell a house, it's not really a bad thing to have an inspector come in so you can start to get ready, because eventually you're going to sell it.
Yeah,
Whether
exactly.
you age out of it or whatever else happens, it's eventually going to be sold. Do you ever have, because clutter's probably the biggest enemy of
Yeah.
selling a house.
Oh, yeah.
And I look at my house and I'm going, God, if we wanted to sell it tomorrow, it would take us forever to get the clutter out of there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that.
And it's personal stuff, so it's hard for them,
Yes,
isn't it?
and it's hard for me as a realtor to have that conversation. Like I said, the guitar, it's got to come down. I'm sorry, but how I flip that is just think when you're ready to actually move right before closing day, you've already packed up. You're already ready to go.
There you go.
So think of it at that
I
point.
like that. What's the most rewarding thing?
Oh,
We were
gosh.
talking a little bit. I know you like new buyers, things like that, first-time homeowners.
Yeah, well, I always say my previous life, we were talking about the horses.
Please.
The joy that I have now is just all the people that I get to meet. That's my favorite part, as well as having those relationships after the sale is done. They become part of the family. I get to go to birthday parties. I may have sold their house 2 years ago, but
Right.
I go to a birthday party or, something. So building those relationships is the best part.
And I think that's probably important in any business.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you're doing real estate or selling, ziggets or whatever to somebody. You've been here since 14. What made you decide to get into the real estate business?
Well, I bought and sold horses over in Europe and brought them here to Tampa to train.
Back up for a minute. Talk a little bit. We had that interesting conversation. I want to get back to the real estate, but talk a little bit about your background with that, because you've been doing it since you were 8.
Yeah, I started riding competitively. I was ranked in the country as a junior rider, and my dad cut the bills for finances and said, "Here, it's all yours now." So I had to figure out a way to pay for school, and the horses were the way to go. And once I got in and was making the money, I couldn't leave, and it was my passion. So but I got bucked off too many times. All those things, old age. My back just can't take it anymore, and I was ready for a new challenge. So, moving around so many times as a kid, real estate was just an easy kind of slide. Being in sales, it just kind of made that transition really easy.
I assume Remax Capital put a good team together behind you and things like that for your training.
Yeah, my broker's Kendall Bonner, and her vision is, just right on par.
Kendall's good. Kendall's actually an attorney by trade too, is she not? Yes.
And it gives a whole different dynamic, to it. And she's there to help us succeed. She wants us to succeed. We're not a number in the office. We're, we're valuable to her. So.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Talk to me a little bit more about walking say a potential buyer or even the seller through the process of trying to make it easier for them between obviously I'm in the title business, so between the mortgage and the title, and it's probably and you say the buyers is probably one of the biggest purchases they'll ever make in their life, and for the seller it's one of the biggest sales they'll ever probably have in their life. How do you get them comfortable through that process?
Well, I always tell my customers, I joke around, I say to them, the only surprises that I like are at Christmas. So it's very important for me to have my process and to explain to them exactly what that process is so that there aren't any surprises. I can't predict the future, but I can tell them through experience kind of, what might be out in the future, what might forecast. So that, I can't give them enough information along the way to ease their mind. Just giving as much information as I can.
So bottom line is like what we talk about, it's all about communication.
Exactly.
And it's all about the fact that, whether they've bought or sold most houses, I still find that people still don't really understand the process.
They forget that it's not a habit.
Right, and if they did, then they'd be a realtor or a mortgage broker or a title person if they understood it. But I think you're right, Kristie. It's really important, the communication piece, to try and make it, because it's not as smooth as you try to make. You always tell people we're imperfect people trying to give you a perfect experience. So
it's a team.
Yes.
Inspector, lender, title company. It's all a team. So if I don't have the answer, I have my team behind me to say, hey, I don't know this answer. Can you help me through this? So that, going to the seller or the buyer, I'll tell them. I'll say what I don't know. I don't know the answer to this, but let me find out. So that's a must.
Yeah, and And I think, you and I are on the same page. We've met, it hasn't been that long of a relationship, but we've known each other real recently, especially through the merger of the two chambers to make the Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce. And I got to tell you, Kristie has been right on the cutting edge of making this work. And I think the thing is that what we both understand, it's about connections and networking. It's about planting seeds here that may not come up here, but may come up over there.
Yeah.
And I know you work with the council for the continuing, the retention type of things like that. What's been advantageous for you about the chamber in terms of your business and things?
Well, just, being able to pass referrals, anything from a house cleaner to junk removal to, landscapers, any of that stuff, who do you know that I need to know?
Right.
They may not be somebody that's in the chamber, but you may have dealt with a landscaper or something.
And you've been a chamber member how long?
Oh my gosh, 2 or 3 years. I lost track.
Yeah. And as a realtor, because I know a lot of realtors, I have a feeling realtors as a rule I don't know if they all think that the chamber's the right way to go. Why? Again, I know you've talked a little bit about it, but has it been a good mix obviously you've been in it for multiple years. Has it been a good mix for you?
Yeah, I mean, coming from the horse industry, the people that I knew were the horses. So, they're not really good networkers. So I felt like going into the chamber with like-minded people that I could build, relationships and grow my sphere and make it beneficial to build my business.
And as we start to wrap up here, as we're winding down, a couple of things. One, what areas do you cover? Where are you comfortable in your areas with real estate?
Ideally, it would be Pasco County.
Okay.
I even go up to Hernando. I love working with Spring Hill folks.
Awesome.
But if I had a choice, it would be Pasco County.
Pasco County.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's nice that you've got that niche because you know it. People can ask you questions. The last thing is we get ready to sign off here. And I just drew a blank. This is the nice thing about being live streamed. You can draw blanks. But you work in this area. Let people know how do they get in touch with you.
I work with Remax Capital Realty in Lutz, right at Livingston and 54, and my number is 813-523-3441.
Awesome. Listen, it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for being on. We want to wish everybody here, as we're winding down, we're coming back for another segment with a really neat young lady by the name of Yvonne Watson, another chamber member. And we want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. Y'all have a great one now. Thank you guys so much. See you in a few. And we are back with the Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce, My Chamber TV. Another wonderful Wednesday afternoon, the first Wednesday of every month. And so excited to be here. I'm Paul Friedlander, your host today. I am with Total Title Solutions, but I am here representing the Greater Pasco Chamber. And you might notice that there's a pretty lady missing from the set today. That's Miss Barbara Marville Kelly. I'm sure if I know her, she's watching, and we missed you. She's fighting a little bit of the fungu, so... she liked the fact that it's snowing on the set. We are all set for Christmas. We know it's only December 4th today, but I got to tell you, the year went pretty quick, and it's going to be December 25th really soon. But I am here with another lovely lady, somebody that I've come to know through the chamber, and Miss Yvonne Wasson. And Yvonne is here representing a company called Zilis.
Zilis.
And I like saying Zilis.
I do too.
But we were talking just before we came back on the air, and she's been with the company for 2 years now.
I've been with the Zilis for 2 years now.
And being the fact that you just didn't start, what was the main part of your career during those 20 years before you started this?
I am a retired school teacher. I taught for 41 years.
Oh, my goodness.
And my degree is kindergarten through 12, and I taught the gamut.
Did you?
And I have retired 6 years ago.
Nice.
And so Zilis is what I do now.
And you came upon Zilis, was it as a result of what we talked about, or?
No, Zilis was a result of having ovarian and uterine cancer, and it wasn't long after I had ovarian and uterine cancer with chemo, then my joints started to hurt, and I was on medicine, and I didn't want to be on medicine, and a great friend of mine came in, and she said, "Open up, I'm going to dose you," and so it was Zilis, and within a month, I was off of half my medicine, and in 2.5 months, I was totally off of all the medicine that I was taking.
And what is Zilis, and what does that stand for?
Zilis stands for multiple nutrition in Swahili.
Okay.
And our doctors blended Eastern medicine and Western medicine together. And so there's the side effects are only beneficial side effects.
Right.
And so I like the fact that it's holistic.
And there are CBD, so this has got a CBD oil type of base, correct?
It does.
And what makes this better than what else is out there?
Our Zilis is called the Golden Standard because it is water soluble. It is patent pending in water solubility, and 94% of our product enters your bloodstream. You put it under your tongue, but most oils is exactly that. It's an oil.
Right.
And so you're only going to get 3 to 5% of it in your bloodstream. And we have third-party testing, and the third-party testing says that it will last at least 12 hours. But after 12 hours, they quit doing blood testing on everyone, and it was still high on the charts. So that is also, it is hemp certified, and there's 18,000 companies that they know of, and only 30 are hemp certified. Yes.
I'm sure every time there's a new fad, everybody jumps in. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be quality.
Exactly.
It just means that they jumped in it.
Exactly, and you need to be really careful with that.
What do you I've got some questions that you asked me to ask, which are great. But what would you suggest people look for when they're purchasing CBD?
First of all, make sure that it's full spectrum. You want to totally stay away from any isolate. An isolate is, you're going to have problems. You're going to have side effects. So make sure it's a full spectrum. Water soluble is very good. Make sure that you have the hemp certification on your packaging. Ours also has a code on it that tells you everything that is in our jar. So there's no surprises. And make sure, that you have a quality oil. If you're buying a $39.99 oil, you probably don't have the best quality.
Okay. And there's so many stores opening right now.
So many stores opening.
And again,
They're everywhere.
It's just a fad, sort of like, not necessarily a bad fad, but sort of like the vapes and the cigarettes, and all those stores started opening right away. And now, of course, they're sort of finding some of the negative side effects of some of that.
Yes.
Some of it, I'm sure, is great. What other? But I talk. Does Zilis have a full line of products?
Zilis does have a full line of products. We have, this is our newest combination, and it is raw and CBG. Our CBG is a new product that has been out 2 months. CBG is actually for your digestion and circulatory system.
Okay.
And so the suggestion is to take your CBD in the morning.
Okay.
And your CBG in the afternoon as it relaxes you and you'll have a better night's sleep. Our CBD comes in 3 flavors. It comes in a berry, a lemon, and raw. And my personal preference is the raw without any sweetener or lemon or cacao berry.
And, okay, now, you're talking to me about Zilis, and you're talking about this. What am I... medically, since it, again, I know you can't say that medically it does this or that. You have to be very careful. I understand that part. But medically, why is somebody going to come and use this product? You mentioned it for getting off the drugs from your ovarian cancer, and God bless you that you're still with us today.
Thank you.
But,
thank you. I appreciate that.
What other things? Somebody's got arthritis. I mean, you said you started to have joint problems.
I did.
Talk to me about if I'm out there listening, why would who would be the person not why, but who would be the person
The
I
3
would refer to
basic
you?
things that we say is
Please.
anxiety, pain, and sleeplessness.
Okay.
And that anxiety can go with any type of anything that has anxiety.
Right.
And, of course, the pain, and then, of course, sleepless nights.
Okay.
So, we can't say it diagnoses anything.
Right, I know.
And I sure don't want that to,
Right.
but it sure does help. It's been known to help a lot of people with a lot of things. So.
And you mentioned something earlier, or at least in your notes, about it being a big give-back company. Talk to me about that,
We are
please.
such a give-back company. Our logo has 3 hands on it.
Okay.
And one hand goes that we give back to our angels, to our diamond angels, and they are vitamin angels.
Okay.
And the vitamin angels are pregnant women that can't afford prenatal vitamins.
Okay.
Another one
Nice.
is we give back millions of vitamins to undernourished children all around the world, not even just in the United States, but all around the world. And the one that we just started, which is absolutely wonderful, is for our veterans. And we have a veteran program where our veterans can actually get their CBD and CBG at a better rate. And they can come into the company at a smaller rate. And then we have Scout Mountain out in Vermont, not in Vermont, North Dakota, out in the Black Hills, where for a week, our veterans can go and be treated absolutely royally, and as a big thank you for their service.
And is that where Zilis is based out of?
Zilis is grown in Colorado and manufactured in Texas.
Now, just out of curiosity, for somebody that is, let's say that they're in a job where they're drug tested, does this present a challenge?
It does not.
Okay.
Not at all. There's no THC. Remember, I'm a high school teacher.
Yes.
We don't want them to say, what's Miss Watson doing now?
Yeah.
So, no, there is not enough.
And I think that's probably the confusion, because I think when somebody,
Absolutely.
I know when I hear CBD, you're thinking of somebody smoking a joint or something and getting the munchies later.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
what actually is the difference? What is the CBD? I know you talk about hemp, but where's that difference? Is the THC an added factor?
THC is not in what we have in ours. We have from our seed that is grown exactly for our product to the bottle. And so if there's any THC in it, it could be 0.01, and a lot of bottles have 0.35 that are from different companies, and they will eventually show up into it.
Because I think the kits are getting a little more sophisticated too. That's why I asked, because I know there's probably people out there that would love it, that probably have challenges that would help, that this would help, but are going, and I'm sure medical professionals are probably against it, more from, I guess, lack of understanding, or more from still considering a narcotic versus a medicine. But narcotics are narcotics, whether you're giving somebody an oxycodone or right? One's prescribed and one's legal, and one they're accusing. So you've been taking this for how long now?
I've been taking this for 2 years now.
And tell me about the effects that it's had?
I mean,
Energy-wise,
energy-wise, I have a lot of energy, and
Yes, you do.
and sleep. I'm sleeping, and I can now go back out on the dance floor, and I can now walk the dogs, and I can now feel really comfortable.
So it's really affected
It has
your
really
joints that much.
Yes.
What kind of
Yes.
medicine were you on that you were able to get off of? What were
I
you
was on an
taking?
anxiety medicine, and I
Okay.
was on an arthritic medicine for my joints. The first one, the anxiety one, was the first one to go,
Gotcha.
and then the ones for my joint. I just totally weaned off of it.
And talk
So-
to me now. I know you're a new member with the Greater Pasco,
Mm-hmm.
but had you been a member with this? Were you a member of either chamber prior to the merger?
No, I have only been here since Easter. And so as soon as I came down, then I looked for the chamber, and you had just merged.
Yes.
And so I've only been here, 7 months, possibly?
I got to tell you, you're probably one of the most lively 45-year-olds that we have
Yeah,
in our
45, yeah.
in our group.
Plus, thank
I got to
you.
tell you what, Yvonne has been, I've been involved with chamber for quite a while, and Yvonne has just been an absolute blessing. You can see her energy, her smile. She was one of the first people that helped us get the spelling bee going this year. That we just had a phenomenally successful fundraiser. We were able to take
Yeah.
stock in children a $5,300 check at
Isn't
our
that
luncheon
wonderful?
yesterday, which gets
Yeah.
matched. So that's actually a scholarship for one child that's on the mentoring program. But
As a school teacher, that is just right down my alley.
Yeah, right down her alley.
Yeah.
And you can see, but would I have known a difference 2 years ago? Would you have been this energetic and smiling and having this much fun? I've seen that seems to be your personality, but
It is, but I did hurt.
Did you?
I
Yeah.
did hurt, but you can cover things up pretty well sometimes.
there you can. Well, we are so happy to have you as part of the chamber.
Oh,
Have you
thank
felt
you.
it's been a good match for you?
I think it has. I think it
Awesome.
has.
A
I've met
brand new
some
chamber
lovely
member, guys.
and met some lovely people, and that was my intention.
And as we're
yes.
winding down, tell
Yes.
people how they can what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Oh, call 812-430-1452, and I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. Also, there's a great opportunity for anyone that wants to make extra money.
Okay, so that they couldn't get involved in the
They
business
can get
with
involved.
you also.
You can feel good, or you
Give
can
them
give
that number one more time, young lady.
812-430-1452.
And what are you doing? Anything fun for the holidays coming up?
Well, I absolutely am. My granddaughter and I are in our play at church, and I'm Mary's mother and she's Mary's sister. So
Oh, that's
we have some really fun things coming up.
And what church is that?
I go to Keystone Community Church right there on the
Keystone,
corner
yep.
on 54.
That's awesome. Let's wish everybody Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New
We'll see
Year.
you next. Welcome back, guys, to the Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce, My Chamber TV. This is our third segment today. We've had two wonderful chamber members, two lovely ladies with us so far today, Miss Kristie Dimarakis and Miss Yvonne Wasson, and now we have this awesome young couple, Paul and Bianca Micklow, and they are with Amerikey Locksmith.
Yes.
Fairly new in business?
Yes, this is our second year, so we've been blessed.
So, and how's it going?
It's going really well. It's been great. Just the community has supported us and accepted us as a locksmith, and just been a blessing for sure.
I got to tell you something. This guy right here is the first one I met. I got pleasure meeting his lovely wife a little bit afterwards, but he really, really knew what he wanted to do when he started. And somebody had given him my name. He came and he found me. He got set up with the Greater Pasco. I think at that time it was still West Pasco, but he got set up with the Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce. I recommended he do the West Pasco Board of Realtors as a business partner, and he has done that. And he has really immersed himself in the community. What's cool about that is there are other locksmiths out there, but I got to be real honest with you. You know, you and I have talked about it. It's all about face. And you guys have made wonderful face in the community. You snuck out and had half a table at the first trade show we did before you were actually even a member at the West Pasco Board.
Yep,
and you laughed, but that was great.
Yeah.
That was great. That's what it's about. Talk to us. Are you excited about what's happening?
Super excited. I am.
Because you guys have a 15-month-old now.
We do. A little 15-month-old.
And you do what? You help him how?
Oh, well, I help out with the social media. I'm the dispatcher, so when people call and need somebody to come open up the car or anything like that, I call the guys and then dispatch them out to the job site.
And let me ask you a question, Paul. Somebody's locked out of their car, locked out of their home, whatever the case might be. What type of response time do you normally have, or try to at least?
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep all of our customers within a 20 to 30-minute basis as far as lockouts. And the biggest thing with us is, you know, we're honest and upfront about our positioning, how far we are away from the customer. We don't do we're 20 minutes away and make you wait an hour.
Yeah.
We'd rather lose the call and you know, maybe get that customer back knowing that we were being honest and upfront.
Well, I work on the restaurant principle. Tell me you're going to seat me an hour and seat me in 20 minutes, but don't tell me you're seat me in 20 and make me wait an hour.
Yes.
So you're right. You have to be like that with clients. I had a call last night. Unfortunately, I had a flat tire, and when I called AAA, it was like 10:50. I was over in Tampa. Well, they'll be there at 11:50. It was like, oh, dude. And he showed up like in 5 minutes because he happened to be around the corner. So again, now it's a plus. I would have waited the hour, but it was nice to have somebody show up early. Why you guys make a good team? Why are you excited about this business?
Well, we just make a really good team. We're both very passionate about anything that we do, but especially, you know, my husband, Paul, anytime he puts his mind to anything, he's very passionate about it. And he likes to run his business, you know, on integrity and all the good things, and we want people to be able to trust us in the community. So yeah, we're excited.
Paul, you've been in business now, you said, for 2 years. What were you guys doing? What were you doing prior?
Her and I we owned a martial arts studio.
Oh, okay.
So we had it for about 8 years. So
Down here?
Yes,
yep,
we did.
down here. So we've always been a customer or within the, you know, security realm, and this is just another side to it.
Or, why the switch from the the martial arts world into Amerikey? What brought that on?
Just a time for change.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, I've done several other businesses as well, and things weren't going so well in different directions,
Right, sure.
and locksmithing kind of found me, and something I enjoyed.
Did you know somebody that did it? How did you get involved?
So I worked for another company for about 8 months, and I just basically got my wings back. I've always been an entrepreneur.
Right.
I was like, you know what, I can do this, and that's how we got involved with you, Paul, and you know, we found the right person to get us motivated to get back into the community and get a business going. So
I appreciate that. Talk to me a little bit more. I've had the opportunity to see you work. In fact, directly with one of the people I work with, and I found that very interesting because let's say I lose the fob to my car. Talk to me about what you can do now and how you're certified and registered.
Yeah, so we have it's an ASTF certification. So what that allows us to do is run a VIN code on a vehicle. and then we can pull from that your actually key code to your vehicle, so that we can go ahead and program a fob or cut a key for your vehicle if you lost it in the tire. So it's really cool. That's kind of the new side of the business. It's been a little bit of a learning curve, but we're getting there.
I remember we were like early on in your
Yes.
learning curve, but
Yes.
you know what? You still got it done. I know Barb was still very excited
Yep.
about getting it.
Yeah.
And do you actually, and I wasn't really that involved in it, but if I lose my fob, can you actually redo a fob for me if it's coded?
Yes, yes. So we'd have to, in most cases, we just reset the computer and then go ahead and program another fob into there. So.
And just out of curiosity, not that it matters, it's a big difference between me calling you and saying, look, I lost my fob. We had one that we lost. Now the second one's lost or locked in the car. Is there a big difference in what would happen by calling you guys as opposed to calling Hyundai or Honda or whatever dealership it might be?
In an all keys lost situation, you're going to have to get towed to the dealership. So you're going to have the cost of being towed.
Right.
And then you also have to set up an appointment. You may lose a day's worth of work.
Right.
You know, with us, it's a full service, so we would come directly out to you. You're not going to be missing work. We work around your work schedule, and you don't have to worry about getting your car towed and everything else. So it's streamlined.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to put you on the spot for this, but I think it's critical. I know most people think, "Crap, I lost a fob." It's going to be, you hear the things of $600, $700, $800 to get a new fob. Is it that expensive? Does it depend on the car, or?
I mean, every car is different. I
Right.
mean, there are tremendous deficits in different fob costs. However, we're usually 50%. 75%, even sometimes less than a dealership.
Okay, that was what I was going for. I didn't mean to put you on the spot for a
that's okay.
number, but I had a feeling it had to be, like you said, two things. Even if it costs exactly the same, it's a heck of a lot more convenient as opposed to getting your car towed to the dealership, then waiting for them to come up with it. So that's awesome. How did you end up, you said this is new, how did you guys end up finding out about the national, is the national thing a new tool out in the market where you can be certified? Or is that something that's been open for locksmiths for a while now in terms of being able to rekey the fob and everything?
It's been around for a while. It's just kind of the new tool that this generation's using. Instead of going into ignition and trying to, use your little picks and find out exactly what cut the key is, now you have that tool that you can go into that national, federal database and pull the code directly from.
Because we recently had that, not recently, but a couple of years ago, we had that happen with a Kia, where the key was locked in, but it was locked in the trunk because I'd left in the trunk when I went to get something out.
Oh, no.
Well, you got the door open, but as long as the alarm's going off, I found out that the trunk doesn't work from inside the car. So great safety feature. Just suck trying to get the key out of the trunk. So talk to me about some of your experiences and where you really can. Let's talk about houses. We've been talking a lot about cars. Talk to me about houses. Smartphones, smart locks and everything.
Yeah. I mean, we do a wide range of different products. We've installed the Ring. Electronic deadbolts are kind of the really cool new technology that's out there. With that, you can give one-time codes, multiple codes. You don't have to have keys anymore. Everything can actually be generated on a cell phone.
Yeah, I was wondering, I've been watching those commercials. I'm thinking, how do you do that? So, because they keep saying, you can set it up yourself. And I'm going, yeah, you probably can, but I would think you'd have to have an electronic lock to actually make it work.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, so everything's, it's all ran by 4 AA batteries.
Okay.
And probably the best part about it is down in Florida is for snowbirds. They're able to have that connected to a Wi-Fi, so they could be up in Pennsylvania and they can actually physically see their door unlock and lock. So if they maybe have a house sitter of some sort that's checking in, they can see
if there's an emergency and they need somebody to get in the house.
Get in, exactly. Even if they go away, so much as anybody going away on vacation, they want their pet to be visited, and this way they can see, they actually came out and checked on my pet. So, pretty cool technology.
Now, do you guys have that kind of technology at your house?
We do. I love it because I always have my baby on my hip. And I'll have groceries, his diaper bag. I don't have time to be using a key. So here you can just type in the code. So it's perfect for people who don't want to carry keys, or you have kids or elderly who can't really hold a key sometimes. It's hard for them. I mean, I know he's had a lot of customers, they call me and they want something like that. They lose a key, they drop the key, or they can't bend down. Here they can just kind of press the buttons, press the code, and then they can get in easier.
And from a safety standpoint, just as safe as having a key?
I think it's
Or
safer.
safer.
You know,
it's
now
safer.
you're not personally handing out keys anymore.
Right.
You don't have John who has a key, then Mark has a key, and Bob has a
and then-
key, and
Right.
everybody's making duplicates, and God knows, how many duplicates went out. This is all a 4-digit code.
Right.
And if you don't like the person, don't trust the person, you get rid of them immediately.
Right, you change
Right
the
out of the
code.
system,
Yeah, you change
you
the
know?
code right away. And when your 15 months gets to be 15 to 16, or 33 or 36 like ours, it saves you a lot of money on making keys when they lose them to your house. So
Oh, yeah.
I think that's great.
Absolutely.
And how long does it take you to do a house? Does it? I guess it depends on the size, but is it normally just a front door?
If it comes to rekeying or, electronic locks, most people like to just put on one
Right.
main door, one main entrance,
Right.
whether that be through the garage or that be, your main door up front. Rekeys are very important. If you're going to decide to rekey the house, rekey all exteriors. Don't just do one front door or one
Right.
side door. Let's
Right.
rekey it all.
Well, how do they? As we're starting to wind down, I'm going to let you talk a little bit because you've been talking way too much. So I want you. How do they get a hold of you? Since you're the one answering the phone most of the time.
Absolutely. They can give us a call, 727-992-4143. They can text us. People can reach us through social media, really however you want, email.
And your social media is what?
It's Amerikey Locksmith. So we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. You can also give us a text at that number.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You guys ready to have? Well, I guess it's sort of a second Christmas, but this will be the first one he'll remember.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
he
be
was
awesome.
too young for the
Super
first one.
excited.
Yeah,
Super excited.
That's great. Listen, it is so cool to see young people that are entrepreneurs, that are enjoying
Thank
what
you.
they're doing. You've been a big hit in the market. I know everybody thinks the world of you out there, and they just haven't had a chance to see enough of you yet. But
I'm behind the
he'll go
phone.
away. Let's wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Christmas.
And
everybody.
we will see you. We'll be back for our last segment here in a couple of minutes. Guys, I'm so excited. Welcome back to the second and last segment of my Chamber TV, Greater Pasco Chamber. It's actually the fourth segment, but the reason I'm excited, and that's why I'm having trouble talking, is because I am here with the beautiful Angel Cook. And Angel and Kim were the ones that set the bar for the King Pithlin Queen Chasco that Lisa and I are trying to reach. So it is an honor to be here with you, girl.
Thanks, Paul.
And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of stuff going with the chamber.
Yes, a lot. Yes, lots of great things.
So let's start with what's going on this week. We've got tomorrow night.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, the holiday party.
Yes.
Hosted by the board of directors for the Greater Pasco Chamber. So that's great. Anybody that comes out
No,
for that.
tomorrow night's actually the Celebration of Lights. Starts at North Bay.
Yes, that
this
starts
week.
at North Bay. Yes.
And then,
yes,
guys, we've
great
got
for
so
kids
much
too,
going on. It's
families.
nuts.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yes, that's a big one. Everyone wants to come out to that if they can.
And then Friday,
Yes.
we got the tree lighting.
Yes, yes. That's going to be a 15-foot tree that's going to be lit. We've got lots of good stuff going on there. Winterfest, getting ready to get set up in the park.
Thank you.
So that's coming the next day. So we get to light the tree. We have Winterfest. We have tons of snow being brought in for the
And
kids.
let's talk about our sponsors. We have some very special people. Friday night, the tree was sponsored by the Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce
Yes.
ambassadors. And then our buddy, Miss Vanessa Evers, is sponsoring the decorations
Yes.
of the tree.
Yes.
And we
yes.
appreciate her
This
for
is
that.
really a community
Yes.
that has pulled together and cares about their families having a good time and bringing the holiday season in. And I think based on our calendar and what we're talking about, they're all going to see that.
Yeah, and we started this probably about 3 years ago when we finally said, the chamber, the city, Newport Richey Main Street, and Dr. Unger and
Yes.
his Winterfest, we said, let's bring it all together. Let's make it a 2-3 week festival of fun. So
Yes.
Friday night, there's going to be vendors out there.
Yes, there will be vendors out there.
And Saturday, there's going to be what, about
Saturdays,
30
it is
tons of
tons, yes, 30 tons of snow, along with all the crafts. And the vendors will remain out there. And then you move right into the evening for the boat parade.
Boat parade, exactly.
Yes.
Talk about some of the stuff they get to do during the Winterfest. Some of the stuff.
So
for
the
kids.
Winterfest, not only do they have the snow, which is super fun, and they get to slide down the slide into the snow, that's really great, but there are all kinds of crafts going on. They're going to be making Christmas trees, and they're going to be making ornaments, and they just have so many fun things involved. This is hours worth
Yes.
of this. The food vendors, just everything, and of course you're in beautiful downtown,
Yes.
so you're right next to the splash pad and the park.
Yep.
The weather's going to be beautiful. Catch a quick bite to eat at one of the restaurants or the food vendors right there, and you get to move right in, sit right there by the wall, and see the boat parade kick
starts
off.
about 6 o'clock.
Yes.
It's always fun. I think we have about
26
entries
boats
now.
as of right now, I believe it is.
And I know there was somebody yesterday that was thinking about, she had talked to her husband, Randa had talked about getting her boat and her husband's,
Yes.
to do that. Guys, it's this town, if you've not been in downtown Newport Richey for a while, it is just, the growth is phenomenal.
Yes.
Hacienda's just around the corner from being reopened as a boutique hotel. You've got the Main Street Landings, which is getting very, very,
Very
close. In
close.
fact, I found out that Little Bakery on Grand, that is now at the cafe down at the Elfers Care Center, is actually last weekend shut down, and they're going to be reopening at Main Street Landings.
It is
Right in the
so
heart of downtown.
amazing. It's so amazing. And we also have the new apartments that are going in.
The Central.
Yes,
on
that
Orange Lake.
they're going to be ready to go at the beginning of the year. So we really have a lot going on. Our businesses are just booming right now
when
in
you have the
downtown.
businesses like they're opening now, like the Cody River Brewing Company and Ordinance One and Pete's Grand Central, those are the kind of businesses that have turned a lot of towns, Dunedin, Safety Harbor, Tarpon Springs, into
Absolutely.
places where it's not so much about how much you can drink, but it's more about social drinking and moving from one place to the next.
Yes.
And I actually, and I don't know if you see this or not, I actually see downtown Newport Richey, might be in a year or 18 months, having something like a third Friday or a first
Absolutely.
First Friday,
Yes.
where the roads are closed and people just walk around and go to the different shops and go
Yes.
to the vendors.
Honestly, if you haven't been down, my favorite is to go down Sunday around brunch time.
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
totally a brunch person. But what's so neat is I'll run into Wright's to grab something, and the next thing you know, the sidewalks are full. People are roaming around. It is the best thing. You sit right outside of Wright's, you look at the sidewalks, watch everybody coming in, everybody walking around. And this month is going to be amazing with all the businesses chipping in, what the chamber has put together, what Main Street has put together, and the city just encouraging all of it, all right behind the scenes, all encouraging and supporting and making this all happen for us.
And Main Street just recently did a wine stroll through downtown.
Sold out.
They sold out. Plus, I think Liz said they ended up selling about 280 tickets. They were supposed to sell about 200, I think. So they sold out. She had to get a whole. What a great challenge to have. She had to call all the vendors to let them know.
Yes.
And then they're getting ready, I believe, I don't know when, but I know they're getting ready to have a dessert stroll.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think the date's been set yet, but yes, they
do a
are.
dessert stroll. See, this is what's happening. This is the transformation of Newport Richey, and and they also. They're getting ready to the dessert stroll, but there was something else. Oh, this past Saturday, they had a small business Saturday in downtown Newport Richey to help support those businesses. Remember, guys, it's the holidays. And yeah, you can save a buck or two here or there by going to a big box store. But really, I know you hear this all the time, support your big businesses. They're small businesses. I'm sorry, they're great. They're downtown. They're mom and pa's that have been in business for a long time. You pay a couple extra bucks, that's okay. No, it's going to help a small business keep growing and stay open.
Yes, absolutely.
And
now, we got to talk about the holiday street parade.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you, if you saw me sit back and go, oh my God, because I get tired just listening to what this poor young lady next to me has had to do to get this up and running. It was not an easy venture this year. So if you are listening to this segment, please, coming into 2020, it's going to be a phenomenal year. It is a phenomenal opportunity for get your name out there, for being family friendly. So think about being a presenting sponsor. Think about coming in, because like I said, now they're starting to roll in, but this poor young lady is like a team of one. That's why she's got this cast on. She broke her leg trying to get this done.
No. And no one's ever a team of one, but definitely with the Greater Pasco Chamber merger, we have had so many events going on and so many having to organize all these events and figuring out where do we want to pick up and where do we come in.
People that are new and don't
Yes, it's my
everything.
first year as chair for the Holiday Street Parade, and sponsors.
But
we do have so many.
Yeah, talk about some
So
of our.
the city of Newport Richey really said this parade is so important. It is part of our city. So they are, we couldn't do it without them. Nope. They are so important and one of our largest supporters. And then U.S. Waterworks, they are a new sponsor coming in this year for the parade. They are Santa's sleigh. So they get to finish out the parade with a bang, right? They're going to be the most popular float coming along. So then we're also very fortunate. We have the Furman coming in as a sponsor. We have Ford of Port Richey coming in as a sponsor. American Legion, number 79, coming in as a sponsor. Yes, and then we have our very own ambassadors that came in as a Silver Bell sponsor.
Yes.
So you know what? We've clawed our way through as a community to make this parade, make sure that it happens. We're talking over 3,000 families that are coming out and looking forward to it. We already have 100 floats registered. Deadline's not until Friday. How fun.
I know.
We are all going to be out celebrating Christmas.
This community pulls through at the end.
Yes, it really does.
When it starts to look like it's shaky and it's not going to get done, this community just has a way of pulling it through.
They say no way it's going to happen.
Whether it's a holiday parade, whether it's a charity that needs help, and we're getting ready to wind down, but I want to give a little kudos to this young lady, because she has put together a program for the Wrap House where those children at that program will all have Christmas presents, but not just Christmas presents, special Christmas presents that when they go back to a home, when they come in with nothing, they go back out with something. And we applaud you for that and appreciate that.
Thank you.
So,
Thanks.
guys, if you need to get a hold of us at the at the Greater Pasco Chamber of Commerce, the number over there you can call and talk to Kelly is 727-842-7651. I'm sorry, 842-7651. Let's wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and we want to see you on
Definitely.
December 14th, 6 o'clock for the street parade.
Absolutely. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays, guys.